Someone shot the food.
Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, August the 3rd, 2020, and of course, this is your Mr. Video Game live, super live show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Everybody say hell yeah. Coop, good to see you. Hell yeah, kicking in the dick. It is Monday, my guys. I am, of course, Slacker Kite. I'm here to press buttons and pretend like I actually fucking know something. Lord knows I'm pretty good at pretending to do all of that stuff. So, we of course have the lovely, the ephemeral, the perfect Brian, aka Wonder Boy, of course coming back to us again tonight. How you doing, Brian?
All I have to say is this: Big Papa Pump is your hookup, unless you need to go to Shoney's anymore. Press F in the chat. I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside because Scott Steiner's Shoney's is shut down. I need to. It has nothing to do with video games, but I'm done.
I have so many complex feelings about Scott Steiner's Shoney's closing.
That was the last place we had our last dinner together, breakfast together, whatever the hell you want to call it.
It was breakfast for dinner, and it was great.
It was wonderful because it was Scott Steiner's Shoney's, and it is never going to exist for us again.
We were surrounded by title belts and sweaty muscles.
I didn't realize when I was cram-a-lamming myself full of French toast the last time before we left town that it was going to be the last time that I was going to be able to cram-a-lamb myself full of French toast at Scott Steiner's Shoney's.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day.
No, I'm for real. It's taking Wonder Boy and I are actually going to talk on a completely different podcast about our complex feelings about Scott Steiner's Shoney's closing.
Yes.
It was a okay Shoney's.
As Shoney's go, it was a Shoney's you could get drunk at. It was a Shoney's with a bar, which is, I will say, a step up from the Shoney's that I grew up near that only had a cigarette vending machine. But still. Ah, that's Shoney's.
Yeah, I'll always remember the Shoney's that was kind of near the least good interstate near our house. That I can't even talk about it. I'm getting verklempt talking about the closed Shoney's. How much Shoney's has touched our lives?
You know, actually, we didn't even talk about this. Lady Marrow and Sony a little bit deeper today. Their internet's not working. Merowyn was going to be out anyway today and was going to be replaced by PlayWatch because of a new job. But because of lack of internet, we have Unchrasmatic, who is here, which is fortuitous timing for us to sit here and talk about the lack of Scott Steiner's Shoney's.
It is Unchrasmatic. And when Slacker needed someone to take up audio space, he called the right guy, because taking up space is what I do.
You do so much more.
You're a best color commentary boy in the whole group of Dead Sun people.
That comes from my early training in wrestling, which brings us back to Scott Steiner's Shoney's, which makes
No,
it's all right. Scott Steiner's Shoney's will live on in our hearts.
I
and
bet
our
this
onion rings.
coffee would be so much more delicious if it came from Scott Steiner Shoney's.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
You're
And
right.
at least it would have a crumble of it would have a huge French toast sticks floating in it probably.
Maybe. Now, if you were drinking that coffee while watching the video of Scott and Rick Steiner taking a fucking bulldozer to that Shoney's when they first bought it, then yes, that would make that cup of coffee a whole lot better.
You also put some whiskey in that coffee because Scott Steiner Shoney's would serve you liquor.
I
Damn
mean,
right.
I could. There's literally a bottle of whiskey behind me that I bought for a joke.
Morally, ethically, there should never be a situation where you can eat buffet-style scrambled eggs. You know exactly the kind of scrambled eggs I'm talking about. The one, it's the kind of scrambled egg you can only get when you've prepared them like in mass, like in bulk. When you've cooked when you've cooked like 50 eggs in like a rectangle. So the scrambled eggs have like a weird side to them. They're like at angles.
I love the weird side on those eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
You should not ethically or morally be allowed to eat buffet scrambled eggs and consume alcohol at the same time. Like we should socially be against that. Like as a culture.
Maybe this should just be the whole podcast. We can sit here and talk about memories of Shoney's past back in Georgia.
That's a separate podcast.
don't salt Wonder Boy's game, for God's sakes.
All right, we can all come back together and record something later in the week, or we can all opine about this Shoney's for another show that I'm just going to go ahead and plug right now instead of at the end of the show. LGBT in the Ring every Thursday morning. Outsports. Search for Outsports in your podcast service of choice.
Hell yeah.
But I just want, like, Scott Steiner was only good at two things in his life: managing a Shoney's and choice of headwear. Because when some people chose toboggans or ball caps of various front or back alignments, other people chose trilbies or fedoras. Scott Steiner said, no, the chainmail coif. That's what I'm gonna. Just drape a piece of chainmail over me and my Oakley sunglasses.
I'll still brag about how fuckable I am while wearing this.
Hell yeah.
I wanna look like a wax figure of Joan of Arc accidentally got rolled in a bunch of hamburger.
Gross. Uncharismatic, how's your week been?
I've been working, so not according to my plan. Not well in that regard. I work in a customer-facing job, we'll say.
Hooray!
And the COVID situation has made everyone very squirrely.
I can imagine.
Wonderful.
I also I got to experience the unique pleasure of going to the DMV during a pandemic.
Oh Jesus.
Sounds like the best of days.
I literally I think I told Slacker Kite this earlier in the week. There was a young lady standing at the door, shorter, you know, of a heavier persuasion. This is not casting aspersions or anything, but just she looked at me, you know, over her mask, and with like the most scathing look in her eye, she said, "Did you squirt yourself before you came in?" And I was like, you know, usually when people talk to me like that, it's like on the internet, like on an OnlyFans page. I don't know if I'm prepared for this kind of conversation in real life. She, of course, meant hand sanitizer.
Yes.
I assume, but also you never know.
She had a bottle, and I put my hand out to like get the hand sanitizer, and she squeezed a glob onto like my upper arm, like maybe an inch or two away from like the elbow joint. And so I went with it. I just proceeded to
just scoop-a-loop that.
Well, no, I just rubbed it all over my forearms and open palms like a praying mantis.
Fair enough. Wonder Boy, how's your week been?
It's been okay. Just mainly working on some projects that have in the works places. really fun podcast with a British wrestler named Cassius on last week's LGBT in the Ring. And in terms of games, I've been diving into a couple things here. I've been playing more of the Fall Guys beta a little bit over the weekend, which is always fun. We've talked about that a little bit on the show before.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. There was something else that I played, but I can't remember off the top of my head now, and I feel bad. Oh yeah, I played more Magic.
Speaking of Fall Guys, probably should confirm with you at some point. I haven't had a chance to ask. You want to play with me and Merowyn at some point this week?
Yeah, I'd be down.
You free tomorrow at 9?
Possibly. We'll talk after the show.
Okay, cool. Likely tomorrow then playing Fall Guys, just to get that on the internet. And Wednesday I'm getting in that stupid Lego Mario thing, and I got interest in actually putting that together on camera, so fuck it, we're doing that on Wednesday. So a whole bunch of fun content for you guys. Woo!
We're turning into a proper channel.
Video game wise, all I've been doing is playing visual novels I found on Itch.io.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, Itch.io actually has the best visual novels because they're usually either very surreally written and then there's fucking, or they're actually very smartly written and then there's fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're just written by complete idiots and then there's fucking.
Either way, you win.
Yeah, it's a no, it's a restaurant where I don't know how good the entree is going to be, but dessert's always going to kick ass.
Fair enough. Instead of getting any actual work done this weekend, I finished playing the Origami King with the Marios and whatnot.
How did Chapter 5 treat you? I've heard things about Chapter 5.
I didn't mind it as much as some people seem to say. It was fine. It was kind of cute.
To some people, that apparently the twist there just made the game for a lot of people.
So, I didn't expect Origami King, the Paper Mario RPG, to make me feel feelings. I don't want to, spoil things for anybody, but, a lot of things happen, and a whole lot of, talking about what it is to give life to things, and a lot of allegory to having kids vis-a-vis Bowser Jr. and how all of that. It's not a great game as far as as a game go. As far as a collectathon, it's kind of cool. And then the story sucks for the first half of it, and then you're like, oh my god, wait, you guys are trying to make me feel feelings. I'm really confused. What are you doing, Nintendo? For that, I would recommend it.
It doesn't sound too far off the mark. I mean, Thousand Year Door made me feel feelings.
There's a lot of there's body horror in this, which I didn't expect.
Okay, I'm listening.
There is a lot of sacrifice of lives. Literally people kill themselves for this quest to be completed. It's not just a happy fun, hey everybody, let's go on this quest. People fucking die. Your friends are going to die in this game. And that's weird for a Nintendo game. I feel like I've played the video game equivalent of 30 minutes into The Lion King, you know? And that's weird for a Nintendo game. I don't know how I feel about this. If this were a game that was not handled by Nintendo, I think it could have been great, actually. That's the weird thing, is that it being a Nintendo product kind of held it back because they can't really do the things that they obviously wanted to do, so just kind of cram-a-lammed it into this little package. And it makes for a fucking weird game. So yeah, hey, if you want to play as Mario going around and pulling toads out of weird places, and then feel feelings at the end, Krasmatic and Wonderboy, if you want to, I'll tell you guys later after this. I don't want to spoil it live for anybody even potentially watching after the stream, but yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Better or worse than Thousand Year Door?
I didn't play it.
You haven't played Thousand Year Door?
I've never played any Paper Mario games before. This was my first.
Oh, my dude.
Yeah, I hear that I got introduced on the wrong game, but still.
Yeah. You need to play Thousand Year Door.
I mean, every game has been trying to recapture Thousand Year Door for the past decade and a half.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, Thousand Year Door is better than like the original Super Mario RPG. Thousand Year Door actually might be my favorite Mario game at this point.
That is a hell of a statement.
I don't make it lightly. If I could easily say top 5, the top 3 spots are always hard.
Anyway, let's get into the actual stories today, shall we?
Sure.
All right.
I'm always down for news.
Why not? So, we talked about the Analogue Pocket and how fucking pretty it is. It sold out in 8 fucking minutes. Like, people who were there when it went live couldn't finish processing their credit card payment fast enough because the website got flooded the second it went live, and completely sold the fuck out in under 8 minutes. I know our John Borg here got one. I did not.
Do we know what kind of numbers they did? Like, you say sold out. Do we know how many they sold?
That we don't know. We just know they're sold out. And at current, if you look at eBay, they are going for upwards of $900 for a pre-order on this Analogue Pocket system.
Oh, eat shit. I hate seeing that.
Just a bit. Most of the cheaper ones have already sold, so...
It's still, like, anyone who knows me in more than just passing knows I'm a pretty big retro game guy. If it clicks and beeps and it came out before 1999, chances are I'm into it. I tend to lean on emulation for a lot of stuff that, where am I going to find a working game comp? You know what I mean? Like, or if I want to, like, ain't no official system in the world giving me a translation of Nintendo Famicom Club. It's not happening. At least I thought so until apparently they mentioned something for the Switch. Not important for the point. That being said, this thing the Analogue Pocket doesn't do emulation. It's all straight cartridge play. But after being shown the specs and some of the performance videos by Slacker, I was shocked by this thing. Just absolutely floored. It looks amazing. It really does look like an active collector's, like, just wet dream. Someone who didn't buy Fortress of Doom just for it to sit on their shelf in like a little Game Boy box. No, they want to play that thing on the bus. They want to play this thing. The Analogue Pocket looks amazing for that. I'm not a big music guy. I don't have any aptitude for it. But I was totally energized by the music interface for this thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear some stuff that people like. I follow a lot of retrowave artists, and I got to imagine some of them are salivating for this thing. And I am glad they had a successful run. I wish they had more on hand. I am sure that they're going to get more and get them out. But fuck scalpers, as John Borg was saying in the chat. Absolutely, fuck scalpers till the ends of the fucking earth. You see, we've seen this every time with like the NES Classic and stuff like that. I just, fuck them. Just fuck every bit of them.
I mean, it's what this product scarcity, like artificial product scarcity, has bred over time. Like, this is not exclusive to just like niche well-crafted retro consoles, such as what Analog puts out. You know, we see this all the time in clothing. We see this all the time in sneakers specifically. You know, so like it sucks that this is sort of the revenue model now, but in some ways, like this, obviously they sold out their stock. Who knows what their stock is? But you know, I would assume it's probably somewhat lower than what they were putting out originally for their SNES and Genesis systems that I don't remember the name of off the top of my head at the moment. Simply because of, you know, manufacturing issues due to COVID. And yes, more than likely they will at some point open up more pre-orders, or possibly once they get these first ones out, they'll open up for another round of orders. But I don't know, like I have my own personal objections to this business model in a lot of ways in terms of like the artificial scarcity. But at the same time, like situation, like the situation kind of like tells you how much you can do. And obviously Analog, they make quality stuff. I don't necessarily know if I would go for the handheld just because I don't have a ton of handheld stuff to play on it. But I have, ever since we talked about this last week, I have been eyeing that Genesis. I have been eyeing it so hard because like I still have my original Genesis that I got in 1994, and it still runs, but the second controller port is blown. It doesn't work anymore. So I need something so I can play 2-player stuff. And the perfect option is this. So, yeah.
I'm willing to give Analog more of the benefit of the doubt. They're a small company, but they more than likely made as many as they could, especially given that they've already stated before that their manufacturer that they go through was already hit hard. So they had less than they wanted to begin with. So they say that there will be more later, hopefully so.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not holding this necessarily too hard against them. You know, it's still their business model. It's the business model of any like niche, high-end retro stuff like this. You know, it's never gonna be mass produced. It's never gonna be produced for a wide market. It's gonna be produced maybe like a couple thousand or even a few hundred at a time, and they'll put it out there and they'll sell them, and then they'll come back and they'll make another round about the same, maybe more, and then they'll sell them. You know, that's just the nature of this business, and it's the nature of what has been selling within these marketplaces. You know.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to just say, I've been aware of Analog as a retro enthusiast. I saw some of their products, and they have the NT Mini, of course, and I was interested. There's a lot of cool people out there putting homebrews on original Nintendo carts or 3D printed carts. I always thought it'd be cool to get some physical copy stuff like that. And Analog, you know, seeing them react to this, like, you know, reaching out, like, you know, trying to, you know, they don't seem to be big fans of scalpers either. You know, they seem to listen a lot to their customer base. They seem to care, and I really appreciate that. And that means that, you know, when it's time for me to like put like real money down on how I want to physically play my weird shit, Analog's going to be at the top of my list. They put out a good product, and they also seem to behave really well for a company. That matters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to clarify something real quick. It's not, my frustration isn't necessarily on Analog itself in terms of embracing that business model. No. It's more so what it breeds afterwards, like the secondhand market, like the stuff we're seeing on eBay right now. That's where a lot of that frustration gets put for me. Analog, they make great stuff. They sell what they make, as many as they can. They sell what they can, and the people that end up buying their two console limit and then throwing one or both of them up onto eBay for like triple the price, quadruple the price, they can fuck right off.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
I mean, this
Blacker,
is
go ahead.
Like Apple putting out, you know, 500 of something they know they could sell 2,500 of, but if they did, they'd have to sell it at a lower cost and not get people into the environment and shit.
Apple's a bad example because they can sell anything for any price right now, and people would still buy it.
This isn't Nintendo with the NES Classic. You know, this isn't.
Yeah.
Or oh God, I don't know if I need to let people in on how big of a fucking weirdo I am.
Transformers.
Okay. Look, I'm not getting into. We're gonna leave that deep dark hole all the way over on the other side of the room.
The Back to the Future car.
Okay, we're not. Ooh, I'm very salty. Just.
It sold out before the website went live. Fuck off.
Oh, not even another. This might just be a weird one for me. This isn't Reebok when they put out the Aliens sequel, Ripley Reebok sneakers. The sneaker boots thing. I wanted those, but they like never actually like made them. Like they could have made more. They could have made them in like ridiculous size. I don't know. Like manufactured scarcity just bothers the piss out of me.
Yeah, John Borg. I am of the feeling that reselling pre-orders shouldn't exist. Period. In sentence. It just is a practice that should be illegal. It is good for literally nobody. It manufactures scarcity and raises prices to the consumer without the actual producer reaping any benefits from it. It's a piss poor thing.
Not to mention the fact that if you just have like a documented pre-order thing, that could be so easily defrauded. So easily defrauded. How do you even tell? You know, like you don't have inside knowledge of what that stuff looks like, what their tracking numbers look like. You know, so easily.
I also paused on this Twitter timeline because I knew it wouldn't take very long of me scrolling for me to reach a section such as this from Tiso Spencer here. No, this message is not good enough. Put up more and have it as an open pre-order. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable that you allowed this to be sold out while having website issues. It's a pre-order for an item not out for basically another year.
It comes out in less than a year and fuck off.
Yeah, like, and this goes into Wonder Boy. You're not. Analogue is, from what I've been able to read and just interacting with friends and acquaintances that have interacted with Analogue as a company. They are putting out as much product as they can in a pandemic. Like they're doing their level best. And when people it seems like the easiest thing in the world to figure that out if you want to figure it out. So people getting pissed off at Analogue for it, it really to me feels like getting angry at the lifeguard because of the weather. Like, what are they supposed to do about it?
I mean, basically, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to skip the next thing that I had on the agenda and just go straight ahead forward with the next article because we were already 30 minutes in and we've covered one new thing.
No worries. Real quick, before we move on from the Xbox thing that we're going to skip over here, because I don't know if that's necessarily the story here as much as speaking to what we just read from old Tiso on the Analogue thing. I don't know if y'all have been following what's happened since the Xbox Game Pass Twitter account decided to say that we were trying out a new look. It switched up the logo to remove the word Xbox from it. People are losing their shit, apparently. Even though the account put out something earlier today, I'm gonna put the tweet in the chat here. But they put out something earlier today explaining that no, we just took the word out because the symbol means Xbox. It's still Xbox Game Pass, you fucking dolts. But it's been glorious to follow. I'm just gonna throw that in the chat here, and we can move forward.
Yeah, I regret to inform you that gamers might be the worst.
Might be. Might as well just pull that up real quick. Something went wrong. Okay.
Also, I love the fact that the first comment underneath this tweet that I just posted says, "Cancel my subscription after you remove the 12-month subscription. Selling the console cheap next month when Game Pass expires." Fuck off.
Do you think you're hurting the multi-billion-dollar company?
Right? Game Pass is all in their shit. I love it.
Bless them. Bless their hearts. So we've got a fair amount of PlayStation news here. Go ahead, I'll accept all cookies. Why do I give a fuck? The first item up is that Thursday there will be a state of play, and we've had like one all year long, and I believe that was for The Last of Us 2. But they have stated that there will be no big PS5 announcements during this particular stream. It's all going to be primarily PS4 and PSVR related.
So, of course, everyone thinks the new God of War is getting announced here.
Oh, of course. Yeah, everyone wants the huge, big item. So, yeah, they've already told you, like, here's the first things we're going to put out for the PS5. There's nothing to stop them from having 2 directs in August. Meh.
No, but they won't.
No. No, I imagine we'll find out what it cost probably September or October, but nothing stops them from doing it still.
Definitely doesn't.
Mm-hmm. But, of course, the internet's gone mad. Oh, PlayStation is cucking us. Okay, do you need every announcement to be a giant bombastic thing?
Look. Sorry, go ahead.
No, wait, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right? Like, they can't possibly, like, see, this is one of the reasons why, like, video game companies only having, like, PR departments and viewing, like, video games journalism. This is where one of those chickens kind of comes home to fucking roost.
Follow.
Because they try to treat all information,
I follow, yeah.
Yeah, they try to treat all information as proprietary, and they try to treat all information as spin, and they try to treat all information as like this controllable dynamic used for hype. And when champagne, but then it breeds this behavior of you can never, like, you can't announce anything and expect to be taken at your word. It's like it's mind melting. It really is.
So I don't like. The thing that frustrates me the most about this is that, like, not every state of play, just like not every Nintendo Direct or every Inside Xbox or whatever Xbox is, if they rebrand that, I don't know if they are or not. Like, all these different presentations, like, they're not always going to be ground shaker, you know? Like, yes, there's stuff coming down the line, but no one should expect major PS5 stuff to come out in August, right? Especially especially under a state of play banner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that state of play is talking about games, and they'll get to the PS5 thing right now, but the PS5 games are not going to be the major deal going forward. Right now, the only thing people are really clamoring about is pricing. And that will come out eventually. You know, I'm hopefully whichever one between the two ends up breaking the staring contest and announces first. Like, I'm hoping that happens by the end of August, maybe early September. You know, there's still rumors that Xbox has another announcement coming near the end of August, I want to say, regarding a discless system, like we talked about last time. But, you know, like, not every one of these things is going to offer stuff that's going to completely change the game. That's not the nature of the business. Not everything can be that.
Right.
Nor should everything be that. And the thing is, like, we're still in that bridging timeline between consoles where you need to keep supporting the PS4 as well as the PS5.
Right.
So it makes sense that they're going to spend some time to talk about PS4 stuff because they're still looking to sell stuff on that console. The surprise for me is that they're still talking about PSVR when I have no fucking clue what could be on the landscape for PSVR at this point. Like, Iron Man VR came out, and no one talked about it after the first day. What else is in the pipeline? I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about PSVR in a while, so maybe something cool will happen. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. They're talking about they're going to still try and support it into the PS5's lifespan, but I just either they have to be looking on like reworking that headset in some way, or reworking how it operates, or like in terms of like using peripherals. Like if they're going to figure out some way where it doesn't rely on the move controls as much, and they come up with some other peripheral to go with it, or just find some other way to retool it, or in a better way to develop games that enhance the experience that it brings. Whereas a lot of and also make those titles feel like they're valuable enough to spend. I don't know if the price has dropped on the headset itself, but last time I checked, it was still $400. So like that's a huge part of it, like piece of investment that you have to make to try and get into that ecosystem, and it's just an odd thing to keep supporting without looking towards the next version of it, or trying to actually incentivize people to continue to develop and buy games for it.
But hey, you know what they do want you to buy a new one of? Hey, that PS4 controller, completely useless now if you want to play our PS5 games. You'd better buy that brand new PS5 controller, because, hey, your PS4 controller, no longer compatible.
There better be a fucking reason. Like, the PS5 controller better dispense candy and tell me the weather. Like,
it's got haptic feedback.
Jesus.
Okay, so here's the thing. Who's looking at Sony's track record when it comes to peripheral adaptation moving forward in console generations? Who is honestly surprised by this? The last time that I saw them make a console that still worked with peripherals for the previous console was the PlayStation 2, because you could plug in PS1 controllers to it, or you could plug in PS1 memory cards to it. Which honestly, I'll be frank, I had completely forgotten about until a few years ago when my partner decided to pop in Crash Team Racing and subjected me to that for a while. I say subject because it frustrated me the first time I played it in like 15 years. It's bad. But beside the point. But no, this is no surprise at all. Like I'm glad that they'll make the thing work for PS4 games on the PS5. But yeah, if they're putting all this new tech into the controller for the PS5, like it would make total sense that they would try and do everything they can to force you to buy that. Not just because they want you to spend the probably 60 bucks for another controller, but also because like the games that they hope, crossing fingers, the games they are developing take advantage of the new developments that they're putting into it. I don't know how that translates into a better experience, but it makes sense that they would try and push you towards the new tech if that's the direction that they want to go in.
But there's just not that much difference. The buttons are named something different. It's got haptic feedback now, and that's about it.
Dude, the only difference between the PS2 and PS3 controllers was that they added that stupid 6-axis bullshit, and then they made the one that looked like a boomerang.
Oh, so
they still make you buy it.
They're renaming the buttons? Fucking why?
They wanted to change share. I forget what they even fucking changed the buttons to, but it's like share is now something else. I don't fucking remember anymore.
I think it's like more aligned with like streaming stuff. So like it might be like a stream button or a cast button or something like that. Create. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. And finally, for our PlayStation news, hi. So you want to play the Spooderman in Marvel's Avengers? You better have a PlayStation, because you're not fucking getting that on Xbox for.
No, this is the bullshit. This is what you should be getting angry about.
Yeah, this is the one that, like a couple of console generations ago, having your character-specific DLC, especially for a fighter game, okay, maybe, but this is primarily a story game from my understanding, so you're cutting out part of the story depending upon which experience you have.
Which makes me think that Spider-Man's part in the story really has no semblance on anything.
Yeah.
Or significance, rather. I don't know. What do you think, Hollis?
I'm having flashbacks to the Ultimate Alliance. So this round of games comes after the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, which were basically Gauntlet but for superheroes, and they were built on the X-Men Legends franchise, which is basically Gauntlet but X-Men. And I remember when those games came out. Pyro, one of my favorite kind of mutant weirdos in the X-Men Legend games, was PC only. Like, he showed up in the game as a bad guy, but you could play him on the PC. And I remember being like, well, I gotta get my favorite Australian gay fire guy. Like, what? I can't play the game properly without him. Right, and I remember later looking up how are they going to get this whole character into a game that he just wasn't built for? It's going to take so many bits and bytes, and it's literally just like, oh, hi guys, I'm a good guy now. I'm on team good guy, and like there's no additional story, there's no anything, and they got me. You know, they knew that they were like, oh hey, you know, there's going to be weirdo fans who want to play this character, and we could literally just put in like a PowerPoint slide, like, and then this guy joined Team Good. And that was back in like 2003. So it's good to see that like video game double dip bullshittery hasn't changed in like 20 years.
War never changes.
Yeah, that's like and it's Spider-Man, and it's Spider-Man on a PlayStation game. Spider-Man, the guy who just had probably one of the best games of like the last sort of run on the PlayStation. Like, so of course people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I gotta get it. It's got fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah. Now here is an interesting wrinkle to that. I'll answer John Borg's thing here. One, Spider-Man is part of a free hero lineup coming next year, so there's no cost here to get Spider-Man in the game once Avengers does come out and they put him up there. Two, you brought up the Insomniac Spider-Man game from a couple years ago, which was outstanding. Sold gangbusters. Guess who owns Insomniac now? Sony.
Yeah.
Guess who owns the Spider-Man license now? Sony.
Oh, dang.
And the movie license for Spider-Man.
So, it's
and we've heard nothing about Xbox getting anything on their end that's special, so it's just Sony.
Well, it's because they don't have an exclusive license to a specific character within the video game sphere, the same way that Sony does with Spider-Man, because they bought Insomniac earlier this year.
Fuck it. Like, just have Bill Gates. Just have Bill Gates with a gun. Like, it's just Bill Gates with a shotgun, just running around with Captain America.
Honestly,
like,
that'd be a selling point for me. It's like when Bill Clinton was in NBA Jam. I gotta get that copy.
It's just, you gotta get the Bill Gates with a gun edition. It comes with a little figure, Bill Gates with a gun. This is nothing new, and I say that not to be like, oh hey, get over, like, no, like this kind of pick and choose your flavor of not having the whole game bullshit. Like, you know who I blame for this? Pokemon Red and Blue. That's who I blame for this shit.
John Borg, you're not wrong. Steve Ballmer, put on the Ritz! You know what I'm talking about.
This feels so archaic. Like this whole idea of like a console exclusive character. Archaic. Oh, don't get me wrong. You've heard me say things about this Avengers game, and I have plenty of other things to say about this Avengers game for whenever we need to talk about the Avengers game.
What's you want to talk about the Avengers game?
You know what? We don't have time, but
no, we don't.
We'll save that for some other time. Hey, a quickie for you. This will be literally just a minute, but So, Fall Guys, the 8th most viewed game on Twitch right now. They're not even live. They're in beta. The game isn't even real yet, technically.
Technically, although I have played it and it's good.
Yeah,
So-
it looks great, and I look forward to playing it when I get around to that. But
Also, by the way, fun bit, Fall Guys is going to be one of the free PS Plus games next month.
Oh, hell yeah.
Actually, this month. So once it releases tomorrow on PS4, it'll be free for PS Plus members, and then it's $20 on Steam for PC.
nice. All right, so you may remember we talked a little bit before about Deadspin basically dying because we like talking about journalisms and unions and whatnot. Just really wanted to very quickly go into the fact that Defector Media is now a thing. It's all the old people from Deadspin that quit in protest because their new company that owns them and Gawker and Kotaku and The Onion and all that shit sucks a big bag of dick. So, read up on your Deadspin.
No, I'm excited about this. It's a paid subscription model, but well worth it. All these voices are great. Like, I've just interacted with a few of them, and it's just all top-notch stuff.
I mean, you can be. I think there's justifiable reason to be frustrated with the paid subscription model, but let's not. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, Giant Bomb. Like, do I have to say anything else other than Giant Bomb?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't decry them at all, for doing this, especially because it seems like
No, I didn't. Yeah, no, yeah. I benefit. I definitely. I just meant we benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
I love that there were some whiny boys on Twitter we didn't ask for this. Who wants this anyway? And they're making decent money already at Defector Media.
They already sold I think last time I saw the announcement it was 10,000 subscriptions. So fuck off. There's a bunch of people that want it.
Yeah, surprisingly, this was a thing that was kind of popular that it got taken away. Of course, people are going to give them money.
Who would have thought that Deadspin's real value were the people that wrote for it and not the fact that it was called Deadspin?
Wait, so the real Deadspin were the friends we made along the way?
You're damn right it was. Now pay your friends.
Welcome to Dead Sun Entertainment. Pay your friends.
Oh, well, the next story actually is kind of moot anyway. Riot was going to sign a deal with Saudi Arabia, but they pulled out. So, hey, that's no longer a story.
Well, here's the thing. Part of the story is the fact that they were still going to sign this deal in the first place in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Riot Games was going to sign a deal with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has pulled some really skeezy acts as far as human rights, especially in the last year, with hacksaws and journalism and stuff.
I'm just going to say this right now. You say skeezy acts in terms of human rights, and that's an understatement. I'm just going to put it right out there. They criminalize homosexuality, and they put people to death for homosexual acts, so they can suck the biggest dick.
I didn't have all of the details, so I didn't really want to give it the full statement, but no, you shouldn't be backing Saudi Arabia right now.
Hold on. Wonder Boy, are you saying that Vince McMahon would work with an organization that is possibly corrupt and unjust and unethical?
How do you think I know so much information about Saudi Arabia and human rights violations?
I know what you meant there, but I thought you were about to reveal to me that you were the secret bastard child of Vince McMahon. How do you think I know so much? My name is Brian McMahon.
I would not be able to live with myself.
We've done this storyline already. No.
They've done every storyline already.
God. Always Simpsons did it. So we're going to get into a bit of a bit of a through line here. So for the next few articles, basically just kind of fuck Ubisoft. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, if you haven't, and look, I've been at work. I basically work my every waking hour of my life in a nonstop hellscape. So it took me a while to find out. But if you're having that same problem during quarantine, let me just make a real quick cliff note for you. Fuck Ubisoft. They're terrible.
Yeah.
No fucking good.
You know, of course, Ubisoft is out of Montreal, and the Montreal Gazette putting out a nice, big old, chunky story of a whole lot of bullshit that's gone on, and as if there hasn't been enough stuff coming out about how shitty Ubisoft is. Just this whole nice, big old article from former employees. They're saying that they're working on measures for a respectable and safe workplace. But don't fucking believe it. I don't see that fucking happening. Do you see that happening, Brian?
What, things changing?
Things changing at Ubisoft.
At this point, no. Like, it doesn't seem like they've learned any of their lessons. I mean, they put a lot of lip service stuff, but there really hasn't been a ton of action outside of people being forced out of positions, or, you know, maybe not necessarily publicly addressing these things as being forced out of positions, and more so like backroom stuff. Obviously, the Guimond brothers are all still there. They are all still being very quiet about all of this. Really, the only comment coming out of any of them is that, one, they don't want to talk about it during their presentations, a la the Ubisoft Forward stuff that we criticized them for a couple of weeks ago. And then also the fact that they continually keep pointing to the internal investigation that is going on, which, let's be real, we got to remember, last week we talked about this. There are HR heads at, I want to say it was at the Toronto studio or one of the studios, that basically said that they and their staff would walk out if the company did not publicly like apologize for the treatment of the HR staff, whenever the majority of the issues have been attributed to the HR staff. Like, yes, there are plenty of other people in positions of power within this company that have had issues. Like, obviously, we'll get to Tommy Francois here in a little bit, you know, but we've seen like game directors, creative directors, other department heads have been affected and have left the company or been suspended because of this. But really, a lot of this boils back down to how HR has operated within this company, and to see as many people within the HR department at Ubisoft be basically exiled from the company, and for various reasons, even though nobody wants to speak to the actual reason. It really speaks to a culture that is there and is not being addressed in a way that really will push any kind of systemic change.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot of positive to come from Ubisoft right now. So, you know, reading over this article, there's definitely some of the items in here. There are steps forward, but still, when you hire a new woman and your first instinct is, should I tell her that there's a lot of creeps at this company, or, you know, I don't really want to shake the water too much. She'll figure it out. That's not really a company that has figured out how to handle itself.
I will go ahead and say this right now. Just clicking on the blog post or whatever from Ubisoft about their concrete measures. Guess what number 1 is?
What's that?
External and independent investigations. They can't even talk about anything else ahead of continuing to put out this idea of independent investigations, as opposed to actually like addressing things within their company. Like, yes, obviously you want to set up a infrastructure to where you have people that are not biased towards the company to come in and investigate issues that are within your company when needed, but also like talk about how you as a company are going to make sure those things don't happen within your company to necessitate those sort of things. Like, that should not be number 1 on your list of a plan of 6 impactful measures going forward here.
Yeah, number one should maybe be rethinking your company culture and what is really reliable here. Saying that you'll do an internal investigation, it is a thing that is good that the investigation is being done by an external company, but it probably shouldn't be your top of the list.
No, I like number 3 is a more diverse management team. That should be like near the top.
Mm.
I don't know. It's just frustrating because you gotta remember this is also the same company that their editorial board, which is all old like middle-aged white guys or various aged white guys, being like, we should diversify now in 2020.
Hey, Jussie, how's it going? Yeah, what's interesting to me is through all this, they're doing some mergers and power plays even during this awkward time. Signing a partnership deal with Parsec to leverage their streaming capabilities. This is an odd time to be building partnerships.
Okay, so I'll give you a bit of the skinny with the Parsec Ubisoft relationship here. This does not surprise me at all. Ubisoft has been, during the time of COVID, they have been using Parsec as basically one. It's the best way that they have for people to continue development work internally on games right now. They've been utilizing Parsec a lot, but also in terms of providing demos to press and stuff like that. Parsec has been the main choice there for them delivering that stuff that way. I know basically everybody who got their hands on Watchdog Legion prior to the Ubisoft Forward presentation a couple of weeks ago, basically they accessed it through Parsec. So this doesn't surprise me at all. They've been working closely together for a while now, and considering the transitions that we've seen in terms of operations due to COVID, like it just makes sense that they would up that partnership going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, especially as you said, they've already been doing some work with Parsec. This seems like a merger or a branding really that's been in the works for a while. It just really surprises me that now is the time that you put out a real positive blog post saying, boy, we're excited to be working with Ubisoft right now to bring their games to the masses. And we can't wait to see how Ubisoft uses our game streaming technology to build a better service.
Yo, Ubisoft will take any opportunity to talk about something other than the controversies facing them right now. So the fact that this is even making our list of topics as something large enough to talk about is telling about the PR strategy around it in some ways too. They will take any opportunity to talk about something other than HR failures and sexual misconduct right now, like so much so that they'll talk about their partnering with Parsec, who, outside of some technical heads in the video game sphere, a lot of the casual public has no clue what Parsec is.
Probably not, but maybe they're trying to look at things other than Tommy Francois getting kicked out of the company.
Like I said, you gotta throw up that PR obfuscator.
I mean, it's good that they are firing people that have been on this, but if your VP, your vice president of the company, is one of the people... No, thank you, PC Gamer. One of the people that have been in these allegations, boy, there is something really nasty about your internal culture.
No, you're not wrong. And right now it's fitting that Ubisoft hasn't confirmed the nature of his departure, while
They
there
never
are
will.
multiple sources within Ubisoft are saying that he was fired. So, we'll roll with that as far as we can right now. But no, like this is obviously a good move because you want to continue eliminating bad actors in that way, but also like it's just another name at this point. It's another name that has been caught in this, and there are many more that are probably gonna come at some point. Like it was only a matter of time before. Like I don't think anybody expected Francois to stay with the company, especially after the Bloomberg report last week, where they were talking about some of the issues that editorial and or not editorial, but the within like narratives and stuff like that, where they were trying to push for a female only a female character being the main focus in Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
Right.
and them basically saying like, no, protagonist needs to be a white alpha male, like
Must be strong.
yeah, like obviously the accusations against Francois are enough to make probably push a departure onto him, but the fact that he oversaw editorial and creative services, and that was the stuff coming out of editorial and creative services.
Yeah, actually, that sort of gets to one of the things. You want to remove the bad actors, but for the culture of the company to change, it can't just be the bad actors, but it has to be the allowance of the bad actors that changes. And I don't know, I with Eve being, or Jomo, I am never going to get his last name right, being basically bestest buddies with, I think, the worst actor of the bunch. I don't. There's not a contest, but I mean, like the one who, to my understanding, the most accusations have been leveled. How much can, if Jomo's still in charge of the company, how much can it change?
Yeah, you're really. If the founder is still there, and there is no way he didn't know if the VP was involved, he can't claim ignorance at that point. Otherwise, he needs to be out of the company anyway because he doesn't know what the fuck his company's doing.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, like even by Guillemot's own admission, his right-hand man. Let me find the name real quick so I can get that to you without just saying right-hand man, because that just sounds weird to keep saying. Blah 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 blah. Where is it at? It's here somewhere. I'm sorry. This is obviously great. Great. Here we go. The chief creative officer, Serge Hascoët. I probably fucked that pronunciation up real bad because they're all French. But basically, he resigned in July. He resigned like immediately once some of this stuff came out. So like this is not, we're not just talking about like VPs here. We're talking about people that are in high level executive positions, above even VPs of departments, that are even closer to Guillemot and the other Guillemot brothers than Francois ever was. That have been that have been caught up in this, and that rightfully so, because there have been issues there, So like if people that are that close to the Guillemot brothers and Eve specifically are not forcing them to really address this as head on as they need to, then like what is?
Yeah, there's your problem right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Throw out the whole baby. The bathwater's, it's not enough. It's all gone bad. It's all gone bad.
Yeah, you might need a new baby at that point.
All right, we're gonna lighten things up a little bit with just kind of a little fascinating oddity, a little nugget here. So it turns out that in a history book that is otherwise, not entirely exciting unless you're really into that sort of thing. Uh, a recipe from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has made it into the published book. Just right there in the middle of it. Actually, not a history book. I should not have stated that way. It is a story book that somebody, apparently the writer, just Googled a recipe to make red dye and came up first on a article about Breath of the Wild. I can choose my words correctly.
Octorok, Hylian, Lizard Falls. Yeah, I'm seeing some seriously actionable material in this shit. And Nintendo doesn't fucking play. Like, they don't.
It is forever in the book by John Boyne. He's decided to leave it as it is because it's kind of funny, but yeah, there you go. Leaves of... all required Nightshade, Sapphire, Keyswing, the leaves of the Silent Princess plant, Octorok eyeballs, Swift Violet, Thistle, and Hightail Lizard. In addition, for the red, I have used Abrilla's dress. I employed Spicy Pepper, the tail of the red Lizphos, and 4 Hylian shrooms. It's a beautiful thing to have right there in the middle of your book. So just be careful the next time that you're Googling something to throw into your book.
Accidental references like this always give me a little tingle.
Oh.
Gross. Nobody needs a little tingle. So last week we talked a bit about those ads for the army to get recruitment going, despite the fact that there was no actual giveaway going, just a sign up for the military. Good old AOC had to explain to our representatives what Twitch was to try to get this halted. It did not go through, but at least there is a conversation now going on about the use of online media and how it affects our children. The final vote was 292 to 126, so the motion failed. And yeah, I can't imagine how fun it must have been explaining Twitch to a bunch of 60 to 70-year-old old white dudes.
Wait a minute, just so I understand. The army was lying about giving away video games on a video game website.
Mm-hmm.
AOC said, hey, they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And our government got together, looked at some papers and said, nah, but they should. Is that...
But they should, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I've aged 10 years in the past 4 months.
It really is a strange time to be alive, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. The frustrating thing about this is the fact of how many Democratic representatives sided with the nays on this. And it's... Look, trying to... I get AOC's frustration. I'm trying to explain what Twitch is to a governing body that has the online IQ of... or online literacy, rather, like, of a Lycos page.
It's a series of tubes, correct.
You know, like,
Hold on, Brian. I need to put that reference into Ask Jeeves.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But for real, like, we're talking about a company, not a company, but like a body. I know this was the Senate a couple of years ago when they had Zuckerberg in front of them, but they were still asking like rudimentary questions about Facebook. And we want them to understand what Twitch is and what streaming is and all the different intricacies that Twitch allows streamers to use in their products and in their presentations. Not to mention the fact that how they can be exploited, especially in the way that the Army is, where they're throwing up giveaways, but instead those links are leading to recruitment pages. Like, this sort of subversive. I'm glad that Twitch hit them with a TOS violation because of that stuff, but also at the end of the day, a Twitch TOS violation
It's nothing.
Yeah.
it's not. It's nothing. It's a short ban, and then they'll come back. And I don't even think they got hit with a ban this time. I think the Navy and the Army just basically stopped streaming on their own volition for a while, I guess, to kind of redevelop new strategies for trying to subvert Twitch to get kids to look at their recruitment pages the same way they did with every high school ever. So this is incredibly frustrating to see how many people that one clearly do not get what is going on. I mean, let's be real. Every Republican voted nay in this, and that's because of partisanship.
Because AOC brought it up.
It's because AOC brought it up, and it's because it targets the military, even though they have no idea. I would assume most of them have no idea what this actually does, and the ones that do understand it, they're they obviously felt the way they did. Whatever small minority it was of them that did feel that way, but it's just super frustrating because the Army, and to be fair, all governing bodies that want to utilize these platforms, go for it in that way. If you want to find a way to do that and put out something that is valuable, then fine. I don't know how valuable anything that the Army wants to do on Twitch is going to be, but I also watch people wrestle in a half-made ring in their backyard over the weekend on Twitch, and that was incredibly valuable to me, way more than the Army ever has been. And also, this is just the latest in a pattern of the Army trying to use video games in a way to increase recruitment, especially to low-income audiences, low-income and minority populations as well. So it's just it's par for the course in that way. The Army and Navy Twitch channels will be back at some point. They will probably steer clear of trying to use misleading giveaway links, but they'll have tried to develop some other way to continue their tactics, because that's what they will always try and do. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm hoping that this legislation comes back in front of the House again at some point, because once you have people in there that better understand what is going on with this platform and how it is being exploited in this way, and the potentials for further exploitation in that way.
John Borg, you should say Trump had a Twitch channel. I do believe he was banned for...
He was banned, but his ban has been rescinded.
Oh.
Of course
Trump's Twitch channel is back.
Fuck off.
I'm reminded, when I was looking at this story earlier, I was reminded, I know you guys aren't, y'all might know who Movie Bob is from The Escapist, just sort of tangentially. I'm a fan of his. I watch a lot of his content. A long time ago, he was talking about how a lot of alt-righters and conservative thought leaders were getting angry at Nike because Nike worked with Colin Kaepernick, and how it wasn't really about Nike trying to stand a real awesome stand-up kind of guy that Kaepernick was and is. Kaepernick's a great dude, but Nike was basically just, they have very well-educated, very well-paid people who look at the numbers and say, this is the way the water is flowing, and this is how we want to swim if we want to make the most money. I'm reminded of that because there are similarly very well-educated, very well-paid people working for the Army who have looked at the numbers and looked at the data and said, Twitch, we have to pretend to give away free shit on Twitch. There are plenty of jokes to be made about government incompetence, but I don't think this is one of them. I think the reason that this is a tool is because it's an effective tool, and I think it's also kind of insidious. And like Wonder Boy said, especially people around our age, remember seeing waves and waves of these recruiters in our high schools.
Oh yeah.
It's it's terrifying. Like it's terrifying how effective it can be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, another major reason for them pulling out of Twitch for right now, at least temporarily, is the fact that they are trying to figure out strategies around the fact that they can't censor speech in their chat like they were doing. Where, because basically, I don't know if you're aware of how close you've been following this story, Hollis, but basically in both the Army Esports Discord as well as the Army Twitch channel, people have been consistently bringing up the U.S. Army's history of war crimes. And every time that that is brought up, those users are being banned or their comments are being deleted. And obviously, since it is an open forum and the U.S. Army is a government body, they can't censor free speech. And so they realize now they were violating the First Amendment by deleting Twitch comments. And they can't do that anymore, so they can't stop people from talking about war crimes. So they're trying to figure out better way to keep people from talking about war crimes on their Twitch. So
Fucking course they are.
Yeah.
What a fucking year 2020. It's just a whole year.
Remember the good old days when the only time we had to mention the U.S. Army in video games was America's Army on the PlayStation 2?
Well, we also have to, of course, mention it in Metal Gear Solid 5. Ba-bam.
Oh, this is the opposite of what the Army wants, right?
You're gonna wanna wear a helmet using that dangerous of a segue there, Slacker.
So you may remember on Metal Gear Solid 5, they built in something to their online that if you happen to live in an environment where there is nobody with a nuclear bomb, a cutscene would trigger for the global deactivation of all nuclear weapons, and disarmament is something you can have now. Well, because basically nobody plays it on the PS3 anyway, 5 years after the game came out, they finally were able to get this to take place for one day. And there are no nuclear bombs for a day. And then they came back to like 30 the day after and have continued to gain traction. But for a whole day on the PlayStation 3, they were able to see no nuclear weapons.
It's been almost 4 years. No, I think it's been over 4 years since Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. Hasn't it? It's been about 4 years.
It's been about 5.
Yeah.
5. Thank you.
It's been
Got
5
old.
years. Yeah.
And yet still, somehow this game keeps making the most balls out weird fucking news I have ever heard in my fucking life.
Josh Komar, so one of the things you can do in the game is go in and deactivate other players' nukes. Do a little espionage. So I'm going to guess some of these nuclear arms were deactivated not of the will of the person who owned them.
Excuse me. Here's where I'm at. I completely forgot that this game launched on PS3. So like that is surprising in and of itself. But of course, if there was going to be a platform where this would happen, I would assume it would have been the PS3.
Yeah, according to the article, there's 20,000 nuclear weapons on the PC right now, so...
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's where the majority of people still play the game, to my knowledge. Especially since you can add custom music to your helicopter in that, and that is the best reason to ever play that game on PC. But yeah, I will say this: it is a bummer that apparently after the PS3 ecosystem achieved nuclear disarmament, some people decided to bolster that back up, and there are now currently 52 nukes on the PS3.
Those bastards!
How dare they?
So peace really is fragile.
Oh, it's so fragile. that word that has meaning for some reason. I don't know what that is.
Right?
The those nukes. I mean, there's a reason they're so destructive. Though they breathe through their skin. Is the thing.
God damn it.
Hey, Wonder Boy, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Don't you have a cell phone?
I do have a cell phone. Why do you ask about my cell phone? Are you hacking my cell phone?
Because we have Diablo Immortal gameplay. It's back. It's
Scratch that.
alive.
I don't have a cell phone anymore. I just threw it in the laundry basket. It doesn't exist anymore. I can't play Diablo Immortal. Whoopsie.
The segues are great, Josh. Don't you dare complain. That's why you love us. But yeah, showed off at China Joy, the Chinese gaming convention, that they have real gameplay that you can see with your eyes.
Do we have to?
You don't have to, but then you're not watching the stream.
I mean, I'll watch the stream, I guess, but you're really pushing it here with Diablo Immortal.
I mean, okay, like I joke about I did actually throw my phone into the laundry hamper for effect because I commit to the bit. But
You gotta commit to the bit.
exactly, always commit to the bit. But that being said, this isn't that bad.
No, it's not
You
that
know,
bad. It's okay.
It's a mobile game that I'm probably not gonna play because I don't really play mobile games. But also, like, it's not made for me. Like, it's made for people that want to play this, and it's not keeping us from getting a proper Diablo down the line. They've stated that they are working on Diablo 4 as we speak. So like, let them make their thing. As long as it doesn't, like, you know, steal my data, then I'm fine.
Yeah,
But obviously,
I
it won't steal my
genuinely
data.
kind of want to play it, but I don't want to give anything to Blizzard right now. But I kind
Well,
of
Yeah.
of
want to
course
see how
not,
it
especially
Same.
considering that spreadsheet. What's up?
Yo,
Yeah, we're not. Well, I don't know. Never mind.
Do we?
you
Before we
can-
talk about something else seriously, do we want to talk about how the necromancer's wearing a whole ass person on his arm? just wearing a like it literally looks like he found like a whole ass skeleton outside of Captain D's, and he's just like, he just took it the way like you get a couch for your first apartment, like just by finding it like on the
To
side
be
of the road.
fair, if you are a necromancer, though, wouldn't you want to carry around a dead body to necromance once you need to?
I mean,
Like,
I
don't
feel
you want
like
to have your tools handy?
it's so impersonal though. I mean, he should smuse, he should dialogue, he should be more of a necromancer.
I see. Well, you can still you can still get necromantic where needed.
So, Brian, do you quickly want to go over the? I don't have a link for it really to use, but do you want to mention the spreadsheet thing? We've got a little.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a link. I think John Board put it in the chat earlier, but I'll post it in the chat again here for everybody. So yeah, obviously, like we said earlier, or just now, earlier because it was about a minute earlier. Blizzard has other things to worry about, most notably employee frustration and possible uprising over the fact that their promise of increased salaries has not been heard by anybody. So basically, Friday, a spreadsheet started circulating around internally at Blizzard, where employees started giving out their compensation right now, what they're being paid. This all kind of stems from a study that was done by Blizzard internally last year. They did an internal survey. This is according to Jason Schreier of Bloomberg News. They did an internal survey that revealed that more than half of Blizzard workers were unhappy with compensation, and then the company told staff it would perform a study to ensure fair pay. So that study happened. They bumped up people's pay, but it turns out they didn't bump it up that much. Most people had a pay raise under 10%, which was significantly less than what they were expecting. And then these numbers were kept relatively secret until Friday, whenever people started noticing that the pay increases were not what was expected, especially considering that Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, is a company that posted record record revenues last year, right before they fired what was it, 200 people, 400 people? It was in the hundreds.
And has one of the most overpaid CEOs on the planet.
That too, all this other stuff. So basically, the frustration boiled over into a spreadsheet that circulated throughout the company where people were comparing their compensation, comparing their salaries, and it just basically has turned into this giant thing where people are frustrated with internally, and they are pushing the company hard to address it and really fairly compensate the people that work for Blizzard. Trying to see where there was one veteran Blizzard employee that told Bloomberg News they received a raise of less than 50 cents an hour.
Jeez.
They are making less now than they did almost a decade ago because they are working fewer overtime hours than they did back then.
Cool.
So obviously part of this does factor into, or the crunch issue does factor into this in some ways too. So they basically several former Blizzard employees said they only received significant pay increases after leaving for other companies, such as nearby rival Riot Games.
I'm also glad that you're reading it out, because I'm in incognito mode, so you can't quite see the article on my screen.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No worries, it's all right. So yeah, basically there's a huge pay discrepancy issue going on within Blizzard right now, and people within the company are angry, especially considering that the Activision CEO, Bobby Kotick, received $40 million in compensation last year.
Cool. Way to go, Blizzard. You're absolutely just the best company. And you keep Activision Blizzard. I remember a time that Blizzard was like one of the best companies out there, and you couldn't say shit bad about Blizzard. I don't remember the last time there was a positive story about Blizzard itself, other than, hey, Diablo 4 looks cool.
I mean, Overwatch 2 got some good press, but it was also people complaining like, why make an Overwatch 2? Blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Alright, let's get back into, hey, we do like talking about good video games, though, and, one of my absolute favorite games of all time, Frog Fractions. Just one of the best games ever. Really, if you want to learn how to do math, you gotta play Frog Fractions.
Of course. It's all about the math.
And it's free on Steam right now.
I need to see if I have my ROM somewhere with that. I can get it for free now on Steam, but I know my ROM's somewhere.
And boy, if you only pay $8, you can get Hop's Iconic Cap. And God, I gotta get Hop's Iconic Cap. It's so worth it. It's a 20% discount right now. $8 for Hop's Iconic Cap.
Hollis, have you played Frog Fractions?
I'm desperately searching, like, the weed-addled bowels of my memory, and I don't recall this fucking thing.
You play it. Don't even look up anything else about it. Just play it.
Just play it.
It's free. Play it.
It's free. It's Frog Fractions. It's the greatest game of all time.
Why do I feel like you guys are trying to fucking impossible quiz me?
Shh, it's free real estate. Play it.
Don't you
Hollis,
fucking...
Look at
Don't
this
you fucking Adult Swim meme me.
Flash interface here, where you can go in and learn more about multiplication and division.
Look, fucking Math Blaster taught me all I needed to know about math, and that is if you do it hard enough, comets explode.
Okay, you got me there.
John Borg's got the chat line of the night. I get all my fractions from Scott Steiner.
That's right. You got 133 and a third chance.
You gotta get that.
Enjoying Frog Fractions.
Oh, bless Frog Fractions. And, hey, there's only one place you can go from Frog Fractions. Fuck Battletoads.
We're gonna get cited by the Department of Transportation for all these terrible segues.
Did you just say fuck Battletoads?
Fucking Battletoads, we got them.
Fucking Battletoads. I was about to say, we're gonna have to have a conference back in the editorial
All right,
room.
so there's three of us and there's 3 Battletoads. Shotgun sunglasses one.
Aren't they all sunk? No, there's only one.
No,
sunglass.
only one. I got the big meaty boy.
Whichever one isn't named Zit, I'll take that one.
I forget which is called which.
Not just any intruder.
I don't think it ever mattered.
It's the queen.
So this doesn't look like any Battletoads that I remember, though. This looks like some very Flash shit going on.
Let's give it a shot here. Like I'm seeing some very 2012 animation here. I'm on board. I'm not bored.
I mean, it's whatever.
There's a lot of things going on the screen.
Yeah, I like beat 'em ups. This is reminding me of River City Girls, which I fucking loved.
We still haven't finished that.
We've got to finish River City Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they put the fucking
Oh no!
the fucking land speeder bullshit back into it. God.
Not the turbo tunnel.
Not a puppet.
Look, okay, look. I like Battletoads. I played a lot of
Yeah.
Battletoads growing up. I don't know if I need a remake of Battletoads. I might play it.
Come on, you need just a come on, Wonder Boy, just splash little Battletoads in you. Just get a nice handful of Battletoads and just put it deep inside.
Now, if we were talking Battletoads cross Double Dragon,
Just cram a lamb some toad in your turbo tunnel.
Gross.
Don't you fucking judge me, Segway.
I don't see either the professor covered in feathers or the strange dominatrix evil lady. I'm not sure this is Battletoads, guys. I'm really not sold.
I need to know that there's a dominatrix in this game before I invest.
Mm-hmm.
that's a good point.
How can I possibly play this game? I can't have Battletoads until I'm aware.
I saw the Evil Lady 2 jump board. Don't know if they went full dominatrix.
Yeah, I saw some gothy makeup, which, fills me with hope. Oh, as it always does. But I'm gonna need to see some full dominatrix before I commit.
You can't half-ass Dom. You gotta go full Dom.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, gothy makeup plus lab coat, you're basically fishing with dynamite in my heart.
Well, on that note, that was our last story of the day. I'm so glad we had this time together, everyone. John Borg, Josh, Giant Pie,
Coop was in here earlier.
Coop was in here earlier. My brain decided to freeze on me. But of course, we can't end an episode of Mr. Video Games without saying who is the Mr. Video Games of the week. If you don't know who Mr. Video Games is, it is the thing, place, person, noun, something that you look at and just go, whether it's good or bad or ugly, you look at it and go, holy shit, that is video games right there. And Mr. Video Games for August the 3rd, 2020 is Sonic the Hedgehog, who says, hey boys, make sure you wear a mask in theaters. Because he is coming to Chinese theaters now, and him and Jim Carrey want you to know, socially distance in that theater and wear a goddamn mask, don't die, just to watch Sonic the Hedgehog in theaters.
Well, I mean, yeah, no one should die to watch Sonic in
Not wearing a mask, that's no good.
I love the poorly photoshopped Jim Carrey in the background, looking all menacing over the seat at Sonic.
Oh no, John Borg's on the same brainwave as I am in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's photoshopped. I honestly think that Jim Carrey was like, they're like, we need you to do a safety poster. He's like, well, I'm going to do it in the creepiest way possible.
I'm not going to wear an actual mask for you to do it. I want you to put that over my face in post. No, I have the full mug for this.
Like, don't question the process.
Okay. Real quick. I love the Sonic thing. I might have found another Mr. Video Games contender that is actually very, very topical considering who we have on the show right now.
Oh?
I'm posting it in the Discord. I need you to just click that link.
Into the Discord, you say, I am finding the thing in the Discord.
I need you to click in the Mr. Video Games Super Show channel.
Fucking what?
I need you to click it.
What?
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 I need you to click that. I need you to
I
click
don't.
this.
I don't.
What? What?
So apparently the Transformers are coming to World of Warships.
What?
And but here's the thing though, they're not coming in terms of like them being ships that transform into robots. It's actually ships piloted by Transformers.
What?
So like there's a ship.
You are fucking kidding me.
There's a ship piloted by Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and then there's a ship operated by Megatron, and I believe Rumble.
Rumble?
Rumble.
Yeah.
There's no timeline. There's no universe where you would trust Rumble with like 2 pieces of toast you didn't even really want to eat. Like you wouldn't trust him with that. And they're trusting him with I hate this. I hate this. This is no, and you don't even make them fucking like
This is the easiest thing. You make him turn into a battleship.
Broadside is an Autobot battleship, and Tidal Wave is a Decepticon battleship. How fucking hard is this?
But no, you can turn into a car on your boat.
What? What?
Yep. You can turn
What?
if you go watch the trailer for the announcement, you can see all the Transformers turning into their other forms on the deck of their boats.
Rumble turns into a cassette tape. Like, what is that? Who is this for? I need to speak to the manager of boats. I need to speak to the manager of the idea of buoyancy because this is no good. This is no good. I don't
made to get you to play World of Warships.
I don't care for this. I don't care. I don't care for this.
I don't need glasses anymore. I don't want to see ever again.
Honestly, the actual like the in-game sprites they're using, like the in-game designs they're using for the Transformers are kind of really good.
You know?
I'm looking at it and like they've actually struck a really good balance between like the cartoony and the classic looks. But I'm gonna need to speak to Archimedes, who discovered fucking buoyancy, because what his discovery has led to is bullshit. I am like, they've got these Rumble's got these dead eyes. Like, what is going on? What?
You can play as Bumblebee, everyone's favorite.
I fucking don't even. I'm not even gonna start on my complicated relationship with Bumblebee. Like, now Optimus Prime is looking. He's looking pretty good. He's looking like a California tin. I'd fuck that Optimus Prime. Like, Megatron is a little rougher, looking kind of like a cyberpunk butt plug. But the Rumble's got some dead eyes. My feelings are all over the maps on this. I don't. No, sir. Nope.
I'm sorry.
Why have you done this?
Josh, don't you fucking do that. Brian's got to leave at some point, and I got to talk to him before he goes.
Exactly. That's a separate podcast for a different time.
Like, me, Bumblebee, and the fucking gulf between us. Like,
you know, at some point we have to. If we keep like adding supplementary stuff to this channel, we just gotta have a like a talk about Transformers with Hollis, where it's just a different Transformer every week, and he talks about his relationship.
We've already
personal
done
relationship
talk about
with-
80s cartoons with Hollis. It's going to happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
actually, Brian, we need to get you in on one of the 80s cartoon jams we've had. Although the first one had a little too much Bill Cosby for my taste, which I can also say about like that decade now.
Yep.
I was so mad that YouTube decided that was going to be the thumbnail for the episode. It looked at everything from that entire stream and said, no, Bill Cosby is going to be the thumbnail for this episode. And I shit. I changed it so fast.
Have you ever looked at like the bullshit that YouTube's algorithm promotes? Of course they were gonna choose the fucking Bill Cosby snapshot as the fucking screenshot on that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, Bumblebee ship looks like shit. Like it looks like a bumblebee, and I hate it. But
It is
Optimus Prime,
objectively the worst ship out of the four.
Optimus Prime ship is looking retro wave as fuck, and I would live on that boat.
I'd fuck that shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. That has been Mr. Video Games for August the 3rd, 2020. Of course, if you ever miss an episode of Mr. Video Games or apparently any of our other shows, you can always watch them at youtube.com/CBGP Games. You can find us on the Twitters. Uncharismatic, do you want to pimp your Twitter or just maybe not
No,
for the best?
I don't know if anybody needs to see that much like retweeted asses and like leftist propaganda. 'Cause that's pretty much no. I take that back. There are like 3 awesome people I yell about like Chris Claremont era X-Men comics with, and a bunch of retweeted asses and leftist propaganda. That's about it.
All right. Well, any of our normal people, myself, Wonder Boy, Lady Merowin, there's links down there if you want to join our Discord and talk about leftist politics or video games sometimes.
Not
That's
that.
also there.
You gotta come to me for that. Also, we got Joshua talking about Twin Twist in the chat. Don't just throw jump starters out there at the very end of the show. Who he is, of course, Spark Brothers with his Spark Brother top spin. Don't. That's a whole. That gets into the wreckers and the weird state of the '86 Transformer line with the mail-ins and all that. That's a whole different thing.
Brian, you got any final words for us this evening?
Yeah, obviously, you can follow most of my writing at outsports.com. You can follow me on Twitter at WonderboyOTM for other stuff that I might have popping up at other places. I'll plug it once again. If you liked the interaction between all of us here, come back Thursday because we're going to be talking about Scott Steiner's Shoney's on LGBT in the Ring on the Outsports Podcast Network this Thursday and every Thursday until I die. And then real quick, the last thing after the plugs are out of the way, we need to pour one out real quick for the Sega Akihabara second arcade. That iconic arcade in the Akihabara area of Tokyo that is closing at the end of the month. That is some hot garbage that COVID has brought again. So yeah,
Is it due to COVID that they're closing?
yeah, basically. Here, let me pull up details real quick just so we have a little bit of time here.
You got anything you want to say in the meantime? Increz?
What do I want to say in the meantime?
Yeah. Any final words?
I mean, I got Josh over here trying to talk to me about fucking like trying to get into like hyper specific early like pre-movie Transformer subgroups.
You and Mr. Komar can speak over the Discord with each other. You're both in the Dead Sun. You can both speak to each other through there.
Exactly, definitely, and yes, it's not unofficially, but basically COVID.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
He'll have to come back. He'll have to come back for the stream. The stream I'm forcing you and Wonderboy to do called Transformers I'd Fuck.
The list is longer than you might think.
Number 378 might surprise you.
All right. We'll probably be doing some sort of Fall Guys stream tomorrow, and I guess Wednesday I'll be playing with Legos for everyone's entertainment. You can follow my Twitter or, of course, the announcements in the Discord for when we go live for that. If times may be subject to change, but we'll fucking figure it out. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.
Night, y'all.